Welcome back, and this car is back. It's been behaving very well since the last time we looked at it, but it is here for a timing belt and full suspension. So going with regular kind of replacement stock struts, and then these are, I don't know, they've been in my inventory for like 10 years, but they're low LO brand springs. They're 1.2 inch drop and 1.4 inch drop. And they should go really nice with the stock 325e. Suspension's in okay shape, but it's original, so it's in desperate need of a little help. Right now, I'm just draining the coolant out of the block. Makes this job a hell of a lot cleaner. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the gist of what we're doing right now. I do have new coolant temperature sensors for up here. This car doesn't hard start very well. So I'm hopeful that it's that and not the cold start injector or something like that. Could also be the little green idle box under the DME. Yeah, I just want to make sure that's actually draining into the bucket. Then we'll do an SI reset on it. Yeah, the belt wasn't that many miles ago, but 2007, so it's quite a while. Filming right now in 2022, so many years. Yeah, lowering shouldn't be too bad. I did get all of the ball joint bolts soaking in PP Blaster already, but none of this has been touched. So factory cars are a dream to work on because people haven't used Ugga-Duggas on these things yet. I'm really not anticipating any issues at all. The rear is really easy. I'm guessing it'll take 15 minutes all in to do the rear. Suspension. The springs basically just fall out when the shocks are disconnected. Shock top mounts in the back are pretty easy to get at with the carpet. Front, not too bad. You end up just pulling both of the ball joints off, so you got the tie rod and the main control arm. Whole upright comes out, get the spring compressor, pull the 313s off, get the whole upright out, spring compressor, take the spring off, and then there's a giant collar nut right about there, and we will use a giant channel lock, and hopefully that comes off. If not, there are special tools that I can grab as well, but I have usually pretty good luck with channel locks. In fact, I'm going to hit that with PB Blaster before I forget too. But anyway, I'm going to drain the coolant out of the block like I'm doing right now. Then we will drain the radiator. Once all that's done, I'll start pulling everything kind of out of the front. The radiator is going to come out. Normally I pull the hood off for a job like this. I probably will on this car too. Pretty easy. There's two 10 mils on each side. You do have to cut and splice the washer hose, which I really hate to do, which is why maybe we'll leave this one on. And then there's a little circlip way up there and a dowel you can pull off, and then the hood comes clean off on these things. So maybe I'll do this job with the hood on. We'll see. I'll have to check and see if I have one of those little push together splice things for the hose. That'll kind of be the kicker. Anyway, I've talked enough. I'm gonna wait for the coolant to drain, and then we will come back to this. Well, it's still draining, so I did start a little bit, but took out the air box. One of those two nuts, seriously, was rounded off like somebody used their teeth. I'd use an extractor on that. After that, there was a little clamp thingy on the frame rail right there that holds this hose on. You will need to remove that to get the radiator out. Pulled the cover off the distributor. I took the two bolts out of the radiator. You'll only seen this on 88 or older E30s have this style radiator. Otherwise, there's a plastic piece on the top. Got my 32 mil fan wrench, got the clutch out. That is reverse thread. Pulled the shroud out with it. 4 10s on the water pump pulley. 3 3s on the distributor rotor. 3 8s on the distributor cap. And then a 13 that holds the alternator bracket to the front of the timing case. So the alt is loose now. There's a 13 set nut here you got to loosen. And then there's a 19 on the front that you actually use a wrench on to adjust the alternator out of the way. Same thing on the power steering. Once the block is fully drained, I will drain the radiator. I am pretty much to the point where I can't go any further without draining the radiator. Hoses are still completely full, and the coolant's in great shape on this thing. So good time to inspect your rotor. This one looks fantastic. Or sorry, that's the cap. The rotor's on the other side. Still looks fantastic. Everything's coming apart so nice. I really, really do like cars that haven't been worked on much. I will say the previous person to do this timing belt was a bit of a hack. The torque values are all over the place, but it is what it is. Well, we're finally done draining. Just pulled the radiator out. Next up, I'm going to be loosening the power steering belt. I labeled it, also labeled the AC belt. They're not at all the same size, but it's very frustrating if you don't keep track of which one's which when you're trying to put it back together. So I always recommend labeling them. Next up is also going to be 6 13s on the harmonic balancer. Those all have to come off. And yeah, after that, we'll start working on the front timing cover, and the belt's pretty easy after that. All right, belts and pulleys are off. This is a tool I wish I had 12 years ago when I started doing timing belts. But anyway, next up, I'm gonna use my 22. And I'm gonna rotate the engine over until that line right in that groove. So it's either TDC or BDC. We will know once we get the upper cover off. And to do that, I believe there's a 13. Oh God, hold on. This hose wants to be friends, and I do not want to be its friend. Get out of the way. A 10 here. There's another 10 down here. And all those will come off. If you still have this piece of rubber, which is extremely unlikely, that also has to be dislodged. And this is only for diagnostic reasons on the reference sensor for TDC, so don't worry about that, but do clip it back in when you're done. So I'll whip those 3 out, and we'll take a look at the top. All right, that's all back together. Haven't put coolant in it yet, and I haven't put the AFM back in yet because a little bit better access to the hole for the ABS sensor, which I will need to do the suspension. So there's our 17 for the steering, and our 19. I think that's, yeah, I'm pretty sure those are 19s for the actual main ball joint. Then I've got, let's see here, ABS sensor's pulled, but I have to take it out of this little grommet here. Sorry, my framing is not good. Let me use this. And then our wear sensor, which is just capped anyway. I do have to pull this as well, just out of the upright. Oh God. But the ABS sensor I need to be a little bit careful about because these are kind of spendy. So anyway, that'll stay on the upright. Just have to pull it out of the body mount here. The other one pull out of the upright mount. Caliper's got 2 19s on it. We'll pull that out and hang it. And then yeah, like I said, the front's pretty easy. Shouldn't be too bad. All right. Everything's out of the way. Now I'm gonna hit the side of the actual knuckle here, not the threads, not down here. I can hit there with my hammer and it should pop right out. Same over here with the ball joint, same with that side. Once those are loose, then I can go back up top, take the top mounts out, lift the knuckle off of the ball joint, and then I can get the entire upright out of the car. So there's our collar. It looks like this one did actually start to let go. Yeah, no, this one's pretty much shot. The other one though, no oil leakage at all. Really impressive given how old it is. I am going to do control arms on this, so I'm at a stopping point for tonight. And also, I don't have a big enough channel lock down here, so since I have to go home anyway, I believe I have the real Bilstein tool for doing those. But rear springs are out. Shocks shouldn't take more than, I don't know, 20 minutes probably to pull. And then it's start stabbing stuff back together. So this car is only, I don't know, 2-3 hours total from being good to go. Until, of course, next time we find something else we have to do. Oh, welcome back. Another day, another dollar. So, can't find my gland nut wrench, so I'm going to just use my air chisel. Should work just fine. Pop in there and counterclockwise, these are regular thread. And then we'll get those inserts out. This one actually doesn't feel too bad, but the other one is definitely popped. Yeah, quick brap with that, no problem. Let's unthread this. Go real time, because why not? Oh, yep, those are original, and this is leaking a little bit. Actually, no, these are just filled for corrosion, but I wonder what that said originally. These are, pretty sure these are original. I will have to hit this plate off. I will need it for the new strut. Okay. So typically you want to kind of hammer the gland onto the strut before you try to thread it in. So just a light tapper on the edge while you're holding this with a hammer should be very helpful. All right, all set. Now, springtime. Now it's punny. And here we go. One completed upright, one to go. I adore this spring compressor. This is a Schwaben, I believe. If I remember, I'll link it down below, but like if you do any McPherson strut work, this thing is the sauce. Just remember, never use an impact on it because you'll ruin the life of the worm gear in this thing. I've had this for 8-10 years probably. It's just awesome. I forked here and on top of the completed top spring plate. It does actually fit on the E30s. It doesn't on the E46 and the E90, so E30s are a little easier in that sense, but gonna ramrod that top nut back in place real quick, and then we'll do the other one. Well, my hatred for doing these on E30s hasn't subsided any less. The right-hand side one is always a little bit of a bee because of getting a wrench right up in there. This one's easy. But anyway, here we have the original BMW stamped 86 control arms. Then on the outside we've got new heavy-duty, well, newer heavy-duty ball joint Miley units with new F-cabs. This will be a significant improvement for the car. Yeah, I'll just start stabbing them in. Well, the suspension's all in. Everything is back together, so I am gonna fire it up and hopefully the engine doesn't explode. Because, you know, interference engines and timing belts. I don't want to purge the cooling system, but I'll probably do that while I have the wheels on. So at least it runs, that's good. Well, it certainly looks plenty low for being my more mild springs. We'll take it around the block real quick and take a peek at it. Forgot I had the calipers off and had to pump up the brakes. That noise was the left front spring settling. crank the heat, make sure I can feel it. These early model cooling systems usually bleed out really, really easily, so. Well, it's certainly low and the tires are oversized, but it's not ridiculous.